Hi everyone, my name is Beth Scoon and I'm an ice hockey player for the Great Britain women's team. I started playing hockey when I was about 4 years old, starting out on roller skates and progressing into ice hockey when I was about 7 or 8. I was selected for GB at the age of 15 and I've played for GB for 10 years now. I think ice hockey is the best sport ever because it's fast, it's physical, it's always really exciting. It's unique in the fact that you need to be good at the same skills required in any other sport, like passing, shooting, making decisions, things like that. But you have to do it all while skating around the ice at really high speed, try not to get knocked over by the other team. So it's definitely a challenge, but so fun at the same time.
So our first question for you is, what are your biggest sporting achievements?
My biggest sporting achievement is definitely being selected for the Great Britain team. It's such an honour to be seen as one of the best players in your sport and to be able to represent your country in tournaments all over the world. Another big sporting achievement of mine was being picked for the Scotland under-19s team in an international game against England. This was because I was the first and only girl to have ever been picked for the Scotland team or the England team at that level, and I'm very proud that I was able to compete with the boys at such a high level.
Could you please describe your experience of being a woman in sport? Thank you.
My experience being a woman in sport has been mostly positive. I grew up as the only girl playing in a team of boys, and although I did get on well with my teammates and was treated basically just like any other player, it could still be a wee bit lonely at times, like having to change into my gear by myself away from my teammates. But I remember when I started playing in an all-girls team when I was about 13, that it was just the best thing ever to have all the fun and good times with the girls in the changing rooms that I'd been missing out on all those years. And through that I've definitely made lifelong friends from all over the world, and I'm really grateful for hockey for that. Otherwise I wouldn't have had that kind of opportunity.
Have you noticed any changes in sport in recent years in regards to gender?
I think one thing that is hard about being a woman in sport is seeing men be able to play hockey as a job every day, whereas it costs women so much money to travel and play and buy all the equipment. It's good to see the gap being closed in more common sports like football, and there are a couple of ice hockey leagues starting up in places like Canada for women to play professionally, so hopefully it won't be long before it makes its way to the UK. It's good to see women's sport being played on TV more. Things like rugby and football have come up over the last few years, and that's so important for young girls to see female players as role models, and also gives opportunities for sponsorship and funding for women's sport too. And through hockey, our last World Championships were actually shown on TV, and it was really cool to see how many people were tuning in to watch us play, and hopefully that can continue moving forward as well.
And finally, what would you say to young girls in sport today?
If I could give any advice to young girls in sport today, I'd say just to not be afraid to get stuck in a sport like hockey. It can be fast and physical and scary at times, but the more you just go for it and keep going, even if you don't manage something the first time around, it makes you a better player in your sport, and it also gives you good skills and definitely confidence in other areas of your life too outside of sport.